Florida's DeSantis seeks to squeeze out Democrats with illegal gerrymandering. Well, after pushing a congressional redistricting plan through the legislature this spring, Governor Ron DeSantis' administration is fighting to prevent the release of documents to plaintiffs in a lawsuit challenging the plan. In the recent filing, attorneys for the plaintiffs disputed the arguments about legislative and executive privilege and pointed to the intricately involved role that the governor's office played in creating the redistricting plan, which is expected to add as many as 4 Republicans to the state's congressional delegation. The plaintiffs, including groups such as the League of Women Voters and individual voters, allege that the redistricting plan violates a fair districts amendment that applies to congressional districts. DeSantis contended that the redistricting plan would prevent racial gerrymandering, but opponents argued it would diminish the chances of electing black candidates by making changes, such as overhauling a North Florida district that in recent years elected Al Lawson, a black Democrat. State Representative Carlos Guillermo-Smith, a Democrat from Orlando, said that letting DeSantis draw his congressional map signifies that the legislature has totally surrendered its authority as a separate and equal branch of government. Like many other lawmakers, his district has changed with the new map. His old district that covered East Orlando, District 49, included a large minority population and voted largely Democrat. His new District 37 now contains a majority white population and encompasses parts of Seminole County, an area with a larger Republican population. As an openly gay lawmaker who has vocally opposed many of Governor DeSantis' initiatives, this is seen by many as an attempt to squeeze Rep. Smith out of office. I don't think we fully understand just how important Rep. Smith has been for our community. I'm wearing my Team Carlos t-shirt. We have felt that it is so important to support Carlos in this effort to make sure that he wins this. My family, actually, we went up a few weekends ago to knock doors in Orlando. This is that important. His voice has always been vocal, outspoken. He's not afraid of anyone. And he's often the one who, when a bill gets filed, at the 11th hour at midnight, he's the one who reads it. We remember when Don't Say Gay was filed this year, there was a point at which at midnight they filed an amendment to it that would have required teachers and schools to out children to their parents. He was the one who saw that. He was the one who rallied the community. And by the next morning, as soon as session was in, the full weight and force of the LGBTQ plus movement was behind him, and they removed the amendment. Again, we cannot understate just how important he is to the legislature.
Well, him and several others, they have their constituents in their local district, but he works across the state.
He does.
I'm actually sitting down today as a member of production because Representative Smith was supposed to be here, and unfortunately couldn't make it. So I can't represent him, but the fact that he was willing to drive 3.5 hours, or skip out on things to come here to represent his point of view on a news show in South Florida is amazing. He does fundraisers and outreach in town. He's always back and forth and all over the state, standing up for our community. And this, I think, is because he's attacked DeSantis so much, a direct attempt to get him out of office, as well as several other candidates.
He needs to be cloned in some kind of way. John, I want to hear what you have to say. This redistricting, okay? Can DeSantis get away with it? Will he get away with it?
Probably.
Wow.
I mean,
I didn't even hesitate.
No,
Can I take a moment and think about it, make me feel better?
Okay, well, yes, he's going to get away with it. Because, we've got a state pact. Because the amendment that you're referring to in the story is a state amendment. It's not a federal law. And we've had Republican governors for 20 years. So I'm sure that they're going to interpret this in a very friendly way for the administration. And that is really too bad, because the whole idea was to make it nonpartisan. If 48% of the votes, I'm just tossing out numbers, 48% of the vote is Republican or Democrat, but we only have 35% of the seats, that's a key sign that we have been gerrymandered literally out of existence.
And they base the districts on the census results that happen on the decade. So the next redistricting won't happen until 2032, which means a possible decade of complete Republican control of the Florida House.
They are squeezing all the Dems out.
Well, they have to, because they know the way trends are going. And if it was fair, if it was a 51-49, either way, it would seriously shift the balance of power.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.